Game of Thrones is back, and that means it's time to look at one of the most popular and beloved characters of the series, Tyrion Lannister. In particular, we're going to be looking at one quality of his that he uses to deal with negativity and how we can use the same thing to deal with negativity in our own lives. Before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let's get on with it. Now, just in case you've been living under a rock and somehow missed 9 years of Game of Thrones and you're wondering who is Tyrion Lannister, a quick Google search says he's Lord Tyrion Lannister, the youngest child, blah, blah, blah. To cut it short, he's a dwarf. And in the series, he's painted as a character a lot of people try to trample on, and because he's a dwarf, he's usually the victim of a lot of insults. He's also supposed to be hideous to look at, although in the show, he looks a lot better compared to his book version. I mean, look at that, that's really creepy. Whenever someone insults us, it's very easy to want to retaliate, get offended, and go into a negative state of mind. But what Tyrion does with these situations is very, very interesting. Just about every single time he's faced with one of these situations, he always finds a way to make it a positive outcome for himself. Take a look at this next clip here.
I tell the Hound to cut you in half. You'll do without a second thought.
That would make me the quarterman. Just doesn't have the same ring to it.
His nephew threatens him. In the show, Tyrion goes by half-man because he's a dwarf, and he's heard it so many times that he knows how to deal with these insults. He always takes them at face value and then exaggerates or adds a twist. In this case, instead of being offended by his nephew's threat, he starts to ridicule what it would be like if he was actually cut in half, considering he's a half-man anyway. Now, you'll see the same pattern in the next few clips. Tyrion does this time and time again. He is a master of taking negative circumstances and making something positive out of it. He's well aware of his shortcomings, and he uses them to ridicule himself and make himself laugh. Here's another clip with a similar example.
Stay low.
Stay low.
If you're lucky, no one will notice you.
I was born lucky.
He's telling Tyrion to stay low. Perhaps the irony is lost on him that he's so short that he's low all the time anyway. But instead of pointing that out to him, Tyrion just takes it at face value. His comment about being lucky suggests that not only has he been invisible most of his life, but he's also been short, which is why he's been invisible. And by making jokes about it, he is able to overcome that negative impact of any comments. And this is a great lesson for all of us who will inevitably deal with some sort of negative comments or criticism. Every time we hear something like that and ask ourselves, what's funny about the situation, or how can I make myself laugh? Our state of mind is a lot more likely to be positive than negative. And that's what Tyrion is so effective at doing. He does not allow someone else's negative state of mind make his own state of mind negative. Tyrion is also so comfortable with who he is that he's completely transparent about his abilities and his inabilities, to the point he makes fun of how little he can do. Take a look at this next clip. Instead of trying to sell his abilities, he'll be honest, and that just shows how comfortable he is being who he is. He doesn't need to pretend.
But I have other skills that would be very useful.
Can you fight?
I have fought. I don't claim to be a great warrior.
Are you good on a horse?
Middling.
So mainly you talk.
And drink.
Many of us have insecurities we try to hide, but a lesson from Tyrion would be to own these insecurities, to own these inabilities, and to just have fun with it. It's really hard to make fun of someone who's making fun of themselves. He also uses the same exact attitude when he's in an unfortunate circumstance. For example, in this scene, he's being kidnapped.
Who are you?
Your captor.
Do you have wine?
No.
What a waste of a good kidnapping.
You would expect that if you were being kidnapped, the first thing you would do is ask to be let go, try to negotiate, but instead Tyrion just makes fun of his situation. He's a big fan of drinking and he's a big fan of wine, so he knows talking about it is going to make him laugh. Again, bringing a positive spin to a negative situation. It's like he's been in these situations so many times that now he's learned to see the positive in them. And in every single situation, he always finds a way to make himself laugh. Tyrion Lannister is a primary example why your looks and your abilities are not a determinant of how happy you will be. Instead, it is the attitude with which you approach the situations. So if you go to work and you have someone every single day who pesters you or annoys you, just ask yourself, what's funny about this? How can I make myself laugh in the situation? You will see a lot more enjoyment from everyday life. Thank you so much for watching. This is just one of his qualities that I found really fascinating and something I've definitely learned from. I want to know who's your favorite character in Game of Thrones and what have you learned from them? Share it below in the comment section there. And if you like this kind of character breakdown, let me know. I'll be making some more in the future. Make sure to subscribe down below and I will see you in the next one.